as always, is your co-host Jim.
For the first time, we're going to have a game on here that I like.
No, that's not true. That's so not
Okay,
true.
well, all right. But I do like this game.
Yes.
Yes,
Also
I like
join.
it a lot.
Yeah, we all do. Also joining us is your co-host Hunter.
Damn people are easily frightened, but they'll be back, and in greater numbers.
Frankenstein never scared me. Marsupials.
What is that from? What is that from? That sounds really
That's
familiar.
Kevin Pollak doing his walking impression.
Oh yeah, marsupials never scared me. Yeah, that's right. Because I've heard that he does. Him and Jay Moore
Yes.
really do the best walking impersonations. Oh, and Kevin Spacey also does an amazing one as well.
I wish that I could, because if I could, I would never talk like me again.
It's not easy. I mean, I kind of can do it, but it's not easy. The best is out here. Sometimes they have a show called All About Walking, and it's 8 walking impersonators, both male and female, doing
Fantastic.
bits of his movies and stuff, and they get audience participation, and they do some improv, all in walking, and they have wigs with the big hair
Yeah.
and stuff.
By the way, I have to throw out an X-Wing Alliance thing.
Okay.
Great news, Jace.
Oh God. See, when I think of Jace, I think of the Wheeled Warriors. Is
Jace and the Wheeled Warriors.
Yes, that's what I
Those
think of.
Face plants
And
cars
and the
buzzsaws on
and
shit.
and
When I
the
bite into a Jace, I get the sensation that I'm on top
hey
of a
now.
mountain.
the wheels for those cars, they were like half the height of the car. They were like super hot, massive wheels. Anyway, hello everyone.
Say they were Hot Wheels.
Huge wheels. We have a guest this week joining us from Beckley, West Virginia. I hope I remembered that. Is
Unapologetically from West Virginia.
is Jace Masula, the developer of Astrox Hostile Space Excavation Simulator. That's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. Welcome, Jace. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we are too. You just had a 7-mile, 7-hour drive, up the middle of the country almost. Really?
Yeah. I make that trip every month. So.
Really?
Yep.
Is it family? I'm not. If I may ask, is it family?
Actually, I am a professional tattoo artist, and I work down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa, wait. So you take 77 down in what, 95?
I take 77, and then I shoot over to 81. Take 81 all the way down to 75.
Oh, okay. So how close to Raleigh does 81 get? Because I know 85 is like right next to. Or you go through like Greenville, Greensboro.
I go through Bristol.
Bristol. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna say if you actually like got as far as hitting 85 or something, then
Yeah, I hit 85.
I'd
I
just
can go
like
that
hold
way,
a
too.
beer out the window. You could grab it
Oh,
on your
dude.
way
Oh,
by.
there we go.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Because I can go the 85 way too. You know, just take the 85 to 77 straight up through, I think, Charlotte?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
you can
Sure,
stop and
whatever
see
way you
Hunter.
want to go.
All
Yeah,
right.
It's not bad.
it's a couple mile difference. It's really not very much of a difference.
Sorry about the audio, guys. I had just had to reinstall Skype, and my microphone was super loud.
No, your
And-
mic's fine.
No, it
Well,
was in
viewers,
Skype.
For the viewers.
For the viewers, it
Oh,
was
in Skype.
really loud. Yes,
Or you mean in OBS?
I think it was OBS. So I turned me down, and I turned
Oh.
you guys up.
Sure.
So hopefully,
Presumably you can. Oh, well, TIE fighters turn me on too. but
hopefully,
every now and then I get one down off the shelf and just kind of like rub it on my nipple. a little bit.
hopefully that'll do the trick.
Not
Turn the
awkward.
lights down low.
Hey man, Hunter helped me build the shelves. He knows about the shelves.
I
Yeah.
know about the
He
shelf.
knows what horrors lurk on the shelves.
He's a tie fucker. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know where
See,
that.
F-bombed already. All right, tip
It's,
jar.
it's what I do.
Good jar.
So,
Swear.
oh, wow, you can change. So, okay, so we're talking about Astrox. Now, this game for a while was a browser game you could play on. Where did you play? Congregate?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think-
Put it up on Congregate.
Yeah. That's where I played it a while ago. And I was really impressed at how fleshed out it felt. Like, why isn't there a a normal executable version of this, and now there is, and it's on Steam, and it's been on Steam for a couple of weeks now, if I recall.
Yeah, it went up December 1st.
And is this now? I sometimes get confused. Is this an early access game, or is this 1.0? We're ready to go, type of thing.
It's a regular release.
And, damn!
Of course, I keep adding to it. So I mean, you can call it what you want. I didn't want it to be early access because that kind of implied that I was going to that players would demand that I continue to work on, and I didn't want that kind of pressure. I like enjoying it, so I just put it out as is, and then I just keep building shit on there.
No, that's fair. That's good, because now that I know it's not early access, I have to do a weekly of it. So I'm going to remind myself of that.
Nice.
Yeah, because I do weekly Let's Plays. They're my reviews, basically.
How often do you do that?
Yeah. But,
monthly.
Yes,
Trick question.
monthly. But if it's an early access game, I'm not going to cover it as a...
Nah, it's
so
not early access.
See, here's the problem I've been having. Like, so it's getting harder and harder to tell what is and what isn't early access anymore sometimes.
Even when they do tell you, it's still hard to tell.
Exactly.
Well, it's kind of like my laundry, right? Like, there's various shades of clean. So, it's like, did I wear them once? Can I turn them inside out and wear them again? Are we a second day on both sides, right?
And then you have some folks who will number their game 1.0 something, and yet they say it's still in early access, and I'm like, what? How? Wait, no, dang, that's not how. Fuck. Yeah, it's annoying.
Numbering's hard, Brian.
It is annoying. It is hard. It is.
Well, since they started teaching that new math, right?
I can't math today.
So, how did Astrox come to be? Oh, and Jim, your smallest fan, Elliot, with 1T, says hello.
Oh,
so,
excellent.
Well, basically, like I'm sure many of us have been looking for some kind of alternative to Eve that didn't require, investing your entire life into enjoying it.
So you've played this
learning spreadsheets.
Yeah, it just got, because I was a huge Eve fan for a long time. And one night I just decided, I wanted to kind of get a quick fix. And I searched around on the internet. I couldn't find shit. And I found that remarkable. I was like, how did somebody not build this already? So this went on for months. I'd kind of get frustrated looking for it and give up until I, kind of crossed paths with another decision. I was getting away from Flash development, moving more towards Unity, and thought, well, I like space games, a good starter game, a project that I can start to learn the software with, so it became, that's, how Astrox was born. It became just this project that I was working on, trying to learn the ins and outs of Unity and how it all worked. And it got to a point where I was enjoying it. I kept playing and stopped working on it, and I was, wasting my time. And I said, I'm going to put this on Congregate, just to see what other people think about it, and what direction I should go with it. And I put it up on Congregate, and I really didn't expect it to do very well at all. I really expected it to be like my other shitty games, and people were like, oh yeah, this sucks or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it actually did really well, and it ended up winning the weekly contest and then the monthly contest. And it won the best one. It was number 7 for best games of 2014.
Oh wow!
And during this time, a lot of players were interacting with me and telling me, "Hey, you should do this and you should do that," and I just kept running with it. I was having fun with it, and it grew to a point where I couldn't update the Congregate version anymore because I was so close to exceeding that 20 megabyte limit. That I was like, well, shit, now I guess, I can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If I release, a standalone version, then I can put higher resolution textures in there and, kind of fix up the graphics, because originally the graphics sucked just so that I could keep it small and tight, so that it would fit on the Congregate website. So it got to a point where, I said, you know what, I'll go ahead and release it. And I just started putting it up through PayPal, and I had it up on Desura for a while. And then, it was doing really good on Desura. I was excited about it. And then they went bankrupt, and they kept every penny and continued to sell the game along with all the other developers' games.
Yeah, such a
And
shame. It's such a
yeah,
goddamn shame that.
and I think that's when the big push for Steam came, because everybody was just like, well, when can I get a Steam key? Are you gonna put this on Steam? Can I get a key? I had no idea what a fucking Steam key was. I'm like, all right. And then after checking out the whole green light process, I was like, I got to pay money for this. And, I finally just bit the bullet, and it sat on green light for about a month. And I had pretty much, resigned to the fact that it wasn't going to get greenlit. It just didn't have a lot of exposure. It seemed like the voting was doing pretty good, but I just didn't have a lot of traffic. I think I had less than 3,000 visits to the page and maybe less than 1,000 votes. And one morning I signed on, and fucking there was that green banner, and I was like, holy shit, I did it, and I was extremely excited. I did a happy dance. I smoked a bowl. I was just, I was all over the place.
That's how they roll in Beckley.
Yeah. And then I was kind of clued into what, the future steps that you have to take to get your game in the Steam store. And holy shit, man, that was about a 2-month nightmare. It was
Really?
not what you think. Yeah, man, it was a fucking pain in my ass.
Oh, you got to go through the business license crap, the tax bullshit, just
Yep.
so much of that crap.
Yeah, and then when you finally get all the images done and the descriptions done and all the system requirements and this for that page, and you go through this huge checklist.
Oh man, I forgot about all the images. Dude, seriously, you go on the Steam page and they have like a list of like 50 different sizes. Like, okay, this is this banner that has to go on the thing. So when you do your art, it has to be resizable to all these different sizes and shapes. Like every kind of polygon you could think of that it's squares and rectangles and stuff.
Every shape, size, and
color.
And
it has to be in like 4K resolution because they resize shit. And then, oh my god. Yeah.
It was quite the task. My favorite was when it was time to actually upload the game. After watching these tutorial videos and reading the page, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not an idiot.
Are you talking about when you had to screw around with the script and Steam command?
When you're actually writing script, and then you're uploading your game via the command line, and I'm just sitting there going, of course, this is the icing on the cake.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude, you have to write a script, right? You download basically the command line version of Steam.
What?
Yes.
Okay. There is a command line console.
How have you never heard this story?
And that when you pull that thing down, then there's some scripts that you edit that hook to other scripts that actually build the game. So you drop all your files into the directories that they're going to live in, and then you run this script. And if you did it right, because if you did it wrong, then you're going to have a bad time. But if you did it right, then it spends like, I don't know, would it take you like a half hour for that sucker to build? It takes all these files and like wads them into a folder, and then it uploads that. And and that's the point where it injects like the Steam API and all that other stuff. And then it sends it up, and then you have a repository in that version, right? So then you can expose that version, or you can expose it just to testers, or you generate keys off of it, or whatever. But then when you're going to update the game, then you have to update. You can either alternate A, B, and have two repositories and expose them alternatingly, which is kind of the sane way to do it. Or you do it like I did, and you just have a repository, and then you overwrite the thing, and then download it once yourself, make sure it doesn't blow your computer up, and then you turn it public. So then everybody's flips to the new version.
I'm going
but there's
back
no
and forth.
rollback. So
yeah, I'm going back and forth, because that way, if I release something that's game breaking, I can be like, okay, hold on, let me put it back and then fix whatever the hell's wrong, and then I can.
Yeah, that was the lesson I learned the hard way. So.
Oh, I'm notorious for breaking shit. Fucking notorious for it.
Well, this game has so far been running pretty damned great. Is that Unity or that runs so well?
I'd like to think so. I mean, if you're not running into bugs, well, that's awesome.
So whenever you were on Congregate, it was also Unity, or did you have to translate it? Okay.
No, it was in the Unity web player, which is now kind of being phased out by the Chrome browser. So that was also another reason I'm like, I go ahead and try to make this jump on the Steam and see what it's all about. And it's been a fun ride for this past month. That's for damn sure.
So, have you guys docked at space stations yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels familiar.
You know, the one thing, talking mechanics about the game, right? The one thing that I
like it, by the way. Sorry.
I like this game a lot, but the one thing that's kind of a weird deviation from Eve is in Eve, you have the tracking speed of the different turrets, right? And the speed of your ship and how close you orbit the other guy depends, and that changes like the dice rolls to hit you. But here, whenever you fight, it's just kind of like your ship chases their ship, or it just stops, and they shoot at each other, kind of thing, right? So it's kind of like maneuvering doesn't really do anything.
Well, to a degree, it does. When you're flying around, you can get in certain loop patterns that if you're using the WASD, you can kind of position.
So you have to go manual with it. So I can't click a guy and say orbit him at 1,000.
No. You click on him to get him so that your autopilot is bringing you within range, but then you're manually tweaking that autopilot so that you can get longer loops, stay out of his gun radius.
Oh, cool. So it doesn't break autopilot if I touch the manual.
No.
Oh, right.
No, it's kind of cool because you can get all wonky and then just let go and it'll recorrect you, and then you can. So you can get tighter turns around enemies when you get somebody behind you or you get behind him.
Okay, cool.
Keeps you in range faster, or you can stay out of their laser range and just try to dump missiles on them.
Nice.
Stuff like that.
Nice. Now, has anyone played a game called Takadam? I think I've heard of it. Someone was saying it's a interesting Brazilian attempt at a softcore Eve.
I haven't heard of that.
I have, but I've never played it. I don't even know what to make of that.
Like Eve, but you keep your shirt on.
There's the thing. I don't even like Eve very much. I find it overtly complicated for the reward of any measure of satisfaction it gives you. But what I like about your game, Jace, is that you have boiled the good stuff, like the mining. You've boiled the good stuff down to its essence. You like you filtered out all that number crap and that Excel crap and that skill crap, and you've just given us the good stuff.
Well, that's another thing too, is like the speed of advancement in this, because Eve's greatest weakness to me is that it is not so much a skill-based game in the beginning. It is a time-based game, because it's like, before I am anything but worthless, I have to spend X number of weeks grinding through skill queues, and that is such bullshit. If they would get rid of that, I'd go back to it in a heartbeat, but they don't. But the other thing is that there was so much grind to get to the next ship, and it's also it's gatewayed because of the time factor, right? It's like, oh, I want to fly a battle cruiser. Well, that's going to take me 3 weeks, and I can queue the skills up, and I might as well just like go on vacation for 3 weeks, and I'll have it when I get back. It's dumb. But here, you don't have that, because it's just like, if I can get the money, I can go buy the ship, and I'm good.
It's the
and the money's not that hard to come by. So does it get to the point where you're not just breezing up the ships? Because I noticed, I went on the wiki. The wiki's excellent, by the way. I went on the wiki and was looking at the different ships, and I'm like, wow, that one's like 175 million. So that'll probably take me a couple days to get there.
Yeah, they get up there, especially when you start getting the ships that open up all the modulators, where you can really kind of fine tune your ship to be very particular. And one of the things I'm working on now, which I want to kick myself in the ass for not doing it much sooner, is having the ships save the modules on the ship, so you can build a mining ship and leave it fully equipped in the hangar, and then be able to switch back and forth between ships without having to reconfigure your ship every single time. So
that's because even Elite Dangerous can't figure that one out, where you where I can actually have they don't have any storage. Like, I can't take a piece off my ship and set it in a locker and then come back later and plug it back in, like switch my guns out. I have to sell it and then try to rebuy it, and hopefully they still have it.
That's retarded.
It is. Like, I'm gonna hold on. Let me get Braben on the call.
That'll work.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little
I-
bit. That game's like a 90% love letter to space games and 10% like J.J. Abrams made it. I don't even. Just see what I did there, Star Wars.
I haven't even
Very
played.
Snark awakened.
Oh, jeez. I almost ran out of fuel just now. I like that. I like
what
that.
happens if you run out of fuel? Does
That's
the
a good
tow truck
question.
Come get you?
Okay, so what happens is it'll switch to your energy. You'll go into emergency energy mode. But if you run out of energy too, then you're fucking sitting, you're a sitting duck. So what I would recommend if you do run out of, fuel and energy is just sit still and let your engines charge back up, let your energy recharge, and then slowly move your engine slider so that you're not, full blasting your engine so that you can,
Oh, so
limp
you
on
can limp
back.
at home then.
Yeah. If you get
Oh.
close to the center star of each sector, you can also recharge that, but it'll damage your shields.
Oh,
So it'll-
is it just being near the star, or do you need equipment? Like a scoop?
no, you just need to be near it.
Okay.
Okay, that's handy because
If you want to cheat, you can just open up your options and turn off under gameplay. You can turn off the fuel so it doesn't.
Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to bring up in this.
Nice.
Like that is huge about this game, because nobody can bitch that this game is too hard or too easy, because you have every slider in the world in there.
Oh man,
It's
I
like,
got more coming.
do you want like a gajillion? You should have slider DLC. It's just like, you want more sliders? $5 more sliders.
No,
I don't even know what they do. This one's in case that one breaks.
Yeah, I'm gonna break apart the galaxy creation into multiple tabs, so you'll be able to modify all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah. So what all can you set right now? Because I want people to hear the length of this list, and I'm gonna go get a pizza. I'll be back, and you'll probably still be saying,
it's pretty impressive, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, you can set quite a bit. I mean, pretty much every parameter that is used in the procedural creation of the galaxies and the stations you can set. And to be honest, there's probably about twice as much of those settings that I haven't put up sliders for, so that I could let you get as far as the naming conventions of the stations, and soon you'll be able to do the colors and colorize your ships and things like that. So
Can you ever build
Oh.
your station or anything like that? Is that something
that's
is-
something I've been wanting to do, because I feel like there's no construction element other than the ship itself. So I've had a lot of ideas that I've been trying to cook up and figure out how exactly I'd want to implement it. And I try to take my time and really think about the gameplay elements and the meta involved in how exactly you progress through these things. Otherwise, it doesn't feel right when you're playing, and it doesn't have that magic that makes it feel addictive for
Right.
whatever
And it-
reasons.
Well, and it's all your systems actually make sense. There's a synergy between things. So
yeah.
so
You
it's
kinda
like
stay with that.
yeah. So I got all this ore, right? And I brought the ore back, and like I got Adamite and Gradion on me right now. So if I sell the Gradion, I get $18 a ton out of it, right? So I'm gonna get 8,000, whatever. But if I refine it, then it's gonna be like a little bit, and I don't really get paid for that. So if I refine it, then what do I do with it? I craft with it.
That's right. So the components you can use for jobs. For example, you'll go and you'll find a particular job that's offering you a hell of a lot more money for a smaller amount of a particular component that you can get from an asteroid in that area. So, if you pay attention to the job markets and what those merchants are looking for, you can mine particular rocks, refine it, which obviously would be less if you just sold those components, but you turn them in for the job and end up making 10 times more than the ore was worth raw.
And what's interesting about the way that you do the job list is all the jobs are open. Like you could come in there and actually complete a job that you didn't even know about, because it's just like, oh, I did the thing and somebody wanted that. So it's almost like NPCs that have buy orders, instead of I have to look at the list and be like, oh, that job, I'm going to do it. And then I go out and do the thing, so it's not like a quest, like an MMO deal where it's like, go get me 9 rat tails and bring them back. It's just like, hey, I showed up with them. Somebody wanted them. Achievement unlocked. So
initially I considered doing it more like a traditional RPG quest system, and then I just decided against it. I mean, it's something that we've done a million times, and if it wasn't necessary for you to complete those jobs, then why make you accept it first? Then you have to
Right.
deal with the timers on how long the job lasts and what happens if you abort it and what happens if you fail it and all that bullshit. I was like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Just take
So
that part out.
do you have any sort of a story that is in here at all, or is it just like grind up to the end of the game and defeat the whatever you set your win condition to be, like X amount of money or whatever, or is there actually like some NPCs that will ask you specific things or?
No, there's no real story. There's no linear story or anything other than just kind of the vibe that's put out about you being in this galactic prison where they just drop you off on the ass end of space and expect you to mine some rocks for them so they can make money and you survive for it. So that was pretty much the premise of it.
And it's a nice, simple premise. Now, I was just looking at those sliders you guys are talking about, and they are pretty insane. I like how you can have you can set your starting ship to it looks like the biggest ship in the game, and therefore the difficulty slider is like -800.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does your difficulty scale like that? Like, is it geographically, the further I get in the map, the tougher the enemies get?
Pretty much, yeah. So each sector has its own level, which is represented by a number, and as you progress through those sectors, everything scales, gets more difficult. The stations scale, the price of the variance in prices start to scale. So you'll make a lot more money in systems 20 through 40 than you will in systems 5 through 10.
Okay, and then there's like a pirate leader that's in each system, right? So if I don't kill him, the pirates respawn, but if I kill him, then the pirates don't?
That is correct. That's
okay,
correct.
So basically I don't kill him and I can just farm pirates all day.
Yep. And you can farm pirates also from pirate dens. They start spawning, I think, about halfway up through the system.
Well, I really like what you're doing with this. That's kind of like how you used to do it with like an Eve with rats and stuff like that. You'd farm the rats, and I really like this mechanic.
Well, I got some ideas for some new stuff, and I got some ideas to fix some stuff that I'm really not 100% happy with. And at this point, I know I can do it a lot better. Mainly the flight of the ship and the physics and mechanics involved. It's just not fluid enough. I really want that ship to slide around and look like a lot more loose. And right now, it feels like it's kind of riding on rails, and it makes its turns are just too tight and too methodical. So I definitely want to adjust that. And that's something I'll work on in the future. But one of the things I'm trying to cook up the gameplay elements for is dungeons, so that you can end up at a warp portal where once you pass, you first you have to activate it, and you do that by collecting various components and getting little pieces that you need. And I can add a lot more interactivity with NPCs in that respect, so that you activate this portal, and when you jump through, now the only way you can get out is to go forward. And if you die, you lose your ship and everything on it. So you're back outside in a scout, and you lose whatever you had on your ship. You don't lose your money. You don't lose your money or your experience or anything like that. But anything you were flying with, you've lost it to that dungeon. But there's rewards at the end, so you try to get through. Some dungeons, the weaker ones will only be 2 or 3 levels, and the more difficult ones will be 10, 15 levels deep. And you're basically just fighting harder waves of pirates that have different abilities, and you try to just navigate your way through. The graphics will look like you're inside of some kind of space derelict or some kind of giant structure. So all the mechanics will function the same. It just looks different.
Other thing that I kind of like is your crafting doesn't suck. I wish that more MMOs did it this way, because there's one MMO that sticks out in my mind is Asheron's Call that actually did crafting right, and that was for the wizards and the way that they did spells, because good luck. Right? So what it would do is it would randomly, you create a character, right? And you're different than any other wizard. So I can't just trade recipes with you. I can kind of have some hints too, but you would buy the components, and then you go in the thing, which is kind of Heraldric Cube, right? And you just throw some components in there and see what happens and hope you don't blow yourself up. And
Oh, shit.
And trial and error. And you could find recipes for stuff that would give you like some basic spells. But if you wanted the real kick-ass stuff, you had to spend time in the lab, like grinding through components until you, like, eureka, I found this thing. which seems to be kind of what you got going on here, right? Because I stick a module in, I stick 2 materials, and I see what falls out.
Yes, basically. And there's, the same module can have multiple variations of components to affect different things on that module. For example, you can put a laser in and use 2 components. That's going to increase its damage, where another 2 components on the same laser will decrease its fire rate. So you've got different attributes that you can tweak.
So you can screw your shit up too, then.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you can make it worse, not necessarily better.
Well, I don't think I made it so that you can make anything worse.
Oh, okay.
But you can definitely waste.
Yeah. So if you make, like, if I stick a laser in there and I stick some components that just won't make anything, does it burn the laser up? Is there a chance that I lose that?
No, it just tells you you've got an invalid configuration.
Oh, okay, so I just lose the material.
If you correctly guess a configuration, it adds it to your recipe book. So you could theoretically sit there and trial and error every single one and figure out all 25 recipes.
But am I burning through at least materials every time I try?
No.
Oh, okay. No, I thought I had, I was actually going to lose something whenever.
That might be a good idea, actually. That might be interesting.
Yeah, you could put some risk to that. Because it's like if you go in there, because in Asheron's Call, you could. It's like I'm trying to enchant a sword. Oh, I broke it, or I made it really shitty. Then you hand it back to the guy, like, sorry about your sword, bro. Like spell. Or because they had, it was like you'd find different herbs, and then you had candle tapers, and you had all kinds of like runes and shit that you'd throw in the bucket and see what happened, and and it was like people made scripts to you would load your character up with components, and then you'd put him like next to a healing pool, so if he did blow himself up, there was a good chance he'd heal, and then you just like grind through with the script, and then wake up the next morning and see if you found any spells or not. A little bit cheaty, but it was risk reward. Like, you were losing components that you paid good money for every time you failed to unlock a recipe.
I like that. I definitely like that. Don't be surprised if you see that pop in there.
Yeah, I would do it where like the 2 materials are toast, regardless, and then there's a chance that you actually lose the component that you're working on, and I would put some things in where you can actually have a negative effect on the component, like, oh, this lowers the damage of that laser. Oops.
Wow, there you go. So there's like the anti-recipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the negative combination is going to penalize that device.
Right.
Interesting.
So that way,
Dude,
it's like, I got this really
that.
expensive laser. Do I risk it?
Consider that stolen. I like that.
So it looked like there were 2 ways to quote unquote win the game, and one was destroy and one was earn.
Yes.
So how do those work?
So you can destroy, so many officers. You can destroy a number of, pirate dens. You can destroy, whatever you want, and then set the number that you have to destroy. Or you can earn. You can mine this number of rocks. You can kill this number of recons. You can, collect this number of whatever. So.
I like that. I like the varied victory conditions.
So I think what I need to do now is, with the addition of some of these newer options that I'm going to put in there, is to create some like kind of default ones, like the miners challenge, and then the pirate hunter challenge, and the space trader challenge. So that way you can kind of get a preset just by clicking it. It'll adjust the conditions and give you a pretty decent start to a balanced game.
So now that you're on Steam, all right, Steam achievements.
Yeah, they're coming.
Okay, because that moves copies. The other thing that I was shocked is those ridiculous Steam trading cards. That sells games. I cannot explain why.
Why? Yeah, okay, I was about to ask you why, because I don't understand. I don't understand.
There are people in this world that are obsessed with those damn things.
Really?
Japanese. There's like this Japanese Steam account that has so much. He's got like almost all the cards for all the games. He's got some crazy Steam like account number. It's nuts. Some Japanese guy.
I think the more cards you get, like the bigger your doinker gets in Rust or something.
Well, no, isn't it like? Well, I know you have to level up your account or some such nonsense.
Yeah, like he
right?
plays Steam the game. Like his account is like level infinity or some stupid shit like that.
Well, and you can make money selling those things too, but they sell for like a nickel or 20 cents or
20,
whatever.
30 cents, yeah.
Yeah, but if you do that, and I'm sure that there's people that run scripts that do it, they're not doing it by hand, but there's people that are like freaking day traders with them stupid cards. And
Wow.
it's like, and I talked to one guy who wanted to, like, there was something that I got. Oh, it was hats, right? It was components for Team Fortress 2 hats, and I had bought this game that like apparently nobody else owned, and he's like, "Oh my God, you got that thing in your inventory? Can I have it?" I'm like, "Well, why?" He's like, "Dude, I'll buy you this game for that thing." And I'm like, "Seriously? This is just like a freaking thing." He's like, "No, you don't understand. I can craft a hat with that." And then and it's like, what? And he was telling me, he's like, I don't buy games on Steam. He's like, I trade in these components. It's like I collect them from people and I sell them to people. And
really?
Yeah, and that was like his thing. He was getting by. That paid for his habit, right? It's like a Coke dealer, right? You don't buy your own. That's why you got customers or something. But
wow,
yeah, I don't know, man. So yeah, those cards are apparently the new crack. So make sure you get them in there.
Really?
Virtual baseball cards.
I've got a ton of cards. I don't know what to fucking do with them all. Honestly.
You know what I wish there was a select all and delete. That's what I wish there was, because I just want them gone. And it's like, ain't nobody got time to click 5,000 times to get rid of all them.
You know what I hate? It's like that little green icon comes up on Steam, and it's like,
yeah, it's like, oh, you got a new thing, and you're like, cool, I got a new thing, and then it's like, oh, it's a card.
Exactly, like, ooh, a friend, or a gift. Oh, it's a fucking card. Yay! But people dig that shit. People love achievements, and people love the cards. So why not? Why not include them?
Is if Valve, oh god, Valve could make so much money with this. If Half-Life 3 is a card game, and you have to play it using the Steam trading cards. Right? Like there's some card game in Half-Life 3 or whatever. Yeah, because they did that with Witcher 3, right? And there was some dude that made a mod that transformed Witcher 3. They strip everything but the card game out of Witcher 3, and then it becomes like Pokemon. I'm serious. Like you're running around hunting for cards.
Crazy.
And yeah, they built like, well, how Blizzard has that what's that card game that they've got that they're making gajillion dollars on?
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone, yeah. So it's Hearthstone inside of Witcher 3. And there's people that play Witcher 3 just to play the card game that's in Witcher 3.
What?
That's become the thing. Yeah. And they were talking about like, hey, we should just make a standalone game that's this. And then somebody made a mod that just like broke the card game out. And seriously like turned Witcher 3 into frickin' card Pokemon.
That's crazy.
What?
Oh yeah, so that's another thing. Unity. How hard would it be to put mod support in there? Because I know some people that would probably really need to put some Star Trek ships in here.
I don't think it's that difficult. The way that the game is constructed, I think I'll be able to.
It locks everything in its prefabs, right? So.
Yes, but what I can do is, which is also another interesting feature. All right, so if every ship and every structure in the game is constructed out of these smaller parts, then essentially all I need to know is the XY location, the rotation, and the scale of each individual part. Well, I can put that in any kind of flat file, so it's nothing more than a simple text file where you're taking the pieces and saying there's a piece here, a piece that's rotated here, it's flattened out and scaled like this. So essentially, I can export all of those values from each existing ship and make it so that the values are pulled in from outside the game executable, allowing people to modify the ships.
Oh, but I'd still be building with the parts that are in the game. It's not like I'm going to make a 3D model and then suck it into the game.
Yes.
Okay.
And then that would be the next step, is making it so that you could add as many parts in as you want.
Oh, okay, cool. Because have you seen Galactic Civilizations 3 and the ship builder in that? It blew my mind. I went in the Steam Workshop for that thing, and people are making like perfect Klingon ships. Like every ship in Star Trek that's Klingon, some dude has made them, and it's just like this guy has so much time and skill, right? Because it's not like he's using a CAD program; he's using their weird editor. Yeah, so they're doing that, and there's like Serenities in there, all the Star Wars ships and all kind of obscure old sci-fi stuff from the '60s is in there, and just it's nuts, man. The stuff you can make in that game. So if I could use parts in your game and start like smacking together ships that aren't even like that detailed, but just kind of my own designs, that would be super cool.
Yeah, I think, if I added in maybe 20 more parts with the existing 9 parts that are in there, you could build some pretty interesting shit.
Yeah, and also if you put a ship editor in the game, that is an opportunity for more sliders.
Well,
because you could have so many sliders.
Normally I build that stuff just for myself, so I'm not going to sit there and hard code in Notepad every single one of these ships. I'm just going to build a little program that lets you do it in 3D, and when you're done you hit the export button. It says where do you want to save it, right here.
Are you listening out there, indie developers who hard code shit? Listen to the man. So and then expose it to the players. So it's weird, man. So many games, like people will go in and it's like, oh, here's all my missions. It's like, well, how'd you make them? Do you have a mission editor? Oh no, man, we hand coded all that shit in Notepad. What?
Oh yeah.
And I mean like AAA games too. And they're like, yeah, it was taking too long to build the tool, so we just whipped it out.
Give me a break. Like, that's
dang.
bullshit.
Yeah.
If it's just a flat text file.
Yeah, because that shit comes out when I ask them, like, well, when are you going to turn over the mission maker tool? What? No, Notepad, man. Okay. So.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, it takes forever, and you end up fucking your shit up somewhere. I learned that lesson a long time ago. One of the last games I put out was a game called Code Link, and it's like a multiplayer version of Uplink, and I built like a whole back end system for it to where all the guys could get on and all the administrators could add new servers and clear log files, remove crimes from players' accounts. Then they could create new missions, new software, new hardware, new everything. So that it was quite often that I'd log in and find the admins running some quest or doing something really cool, and I'm like, shit, man, I kind of missed out. I missed the boat on this one.
You know what we got to do? We got to hook you and Elwood Gilliland up, who we had on here a few weeks ago, because he's a big like mud developer guy. And I don't know, do you do muds, or did back in the day?
Yeah,
what they are?
When I was young.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man, I'm 40, so yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Elwood is keeping the dream alive.
Nice.
So yeah, they're running. It's ASCII dungeon something. Yeah, it's crazy the stuff that he's doing. But he was
awesome.
He was talking about like all this building stuff and whatever he does, and because we were looking at his game. He wrote what engine was that, Brian, that he ran out of room in? It was, no, it was like Game Maker or something.
I think it was Game Maker.
Yeah, he ran Game Maker hard into the wall. Like you can't put another byte of code in Game Maker. And
pretty much.
He's like when you're typing, because you're actually coding in the engine.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm typing and it's coming up on the screen like a 300 baud connection, and like one letter at a time. And and that got us talking. I was like, oh yeah, modems, right? And then that started us down the trail of old mud games and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm totally running one. I was like,
what?
That's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, you guys got to talk because he's all into that. And what you were saying about like cooking up your multiplayer uplink and stuff. So that sounds like right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's totally free. It's still up and running. It's a project I've worked on for about 6 years just for fun. And eventually, it became an online game, and it just grew from there. But go to codelinkv2.com, and you can download the client and play for free.
Oh, cool. How do you jump? I forget. In your game, in Astrox, how do you jump?
How do you warp?
Yeah, warp. Yeah, how do you do that?
There's a little button up there.
Little button up there.
Once you get.
Oh, is that like the speed boost thing? It's not like jump through a jump gate, but it's actually like warp across the system, or what?
It's an actual warp gate. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this.
Oh, the warp gate itself. Yeah, you There's an option to just auto warp, and I click on the gate and pow.
It's right next to the auto target button.
Oh, derp. There it is.
Other thing too is because basically you're targeting all the enemies by you click on what type of thing you want to target, and then it does there's a drop down list, and it's sorted by distance, right? Like closest thing is at the top of the list.
But it doesn't update the distance, because when I did that, it was just crazy. Everything's constantly shifting, and you're trying to pick a ship to target, and you can't actually select it. But if you hit Alt, if you hold Alt and click anything, then you can sort that list even further and say, I only want to fight the
that was going to be my next. Yeah, that was going to be my next question: is how do I sort this list? Because it was kind of doing. So if I reselect the icon, does it refresh the list, and that way the close things pop to the top?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Whoa, no. Oh, I died.
I can't bitch and be like, you ought to do this because you already did it. So, all right, perfect game. We're done here.
I still like that idea about the crafting the components and actually fucking up your modules, and I like that.
Yeah, I'll give you, the more I play this, and it's like I will be playing this after the show for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But like the more I play this, I'll feed you a steady stream of bad ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah, just throw them up on the forum.
Yeah, this game is there's what I like about this game is it's relaxing. Honestly, it's chill. Like
Space Starvation.
It's like I just want to jump into a universe for a little while, and maybe mine a rock, or kill a pirate, and I like being able to jump in and just do that for 5 minutes sometimes. You know what I mean? Yep. It's nice, and you got the sliders, and you got the random everything. Now, is there a way to make this like a true roguelike? Like I didn't notice. Is there like a permadeath option? I didn't notice if there was one or not.
No, there isn't yet, but it's coming.
Oh, really?
Go look on the forums. I just posted about how I'm going to add this dungeon. And
there should be a slider, right, for pain.
Oh,
and you just slide it up to maximum pain. You're dead for real. But then if you slide it like halfway, then maybe just like half your shit falls off, and
Ooh, that could be interesting.
It'd be like Diablo, right? You have a corpse pinata. It's like, oh yeah, all your shit's out there where you died, and you're back in a cheap little ship. Go get it.
That could be interesting.
All your money's floating in space. That's probably
I could just have it spit out a bunch of crates, and then you have to go back and collect them.
Yeah, I can think of a lot of ways to abuse the player. That would be. You have to see people. If you make the game too easy, then they cry, and if you make it too hard, they cry. But you got sliders, so it's like choose your own pain, right? Like slide this and find your threshold. Because there's a point of struggle where it's interesting, and then there's a point where it's frustration. And the interesting to frustration is a very fine line.
And you just try to keep tiptoeing that sucker.
Yeah. Well, you played EverQuest back in the day, right? Remember corpse runs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, fuck a corpse run. I'd never want to do that again. But it made it, it was very important to not die. That's for sure. Especially if you're like 5 zones away from where you're bound. Good luck.
Oh, I like the differences in the system. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I made it to my first new system, and I like how different it is from the last system in terms of how it looks, how many asteroids there are, how many pirates there are. It's pretty great.
So are pirates the only enemies that you'll run into, or is there other? Yeah. Okay.
And they're broken apart into the normal pirates. Then you have the pirate officers, and then you have these dead space pirates, which they'll just warp in out of nowhere and attack you if you fly outside of that safe zone. And then there's the rogue commanders, which are also like the dead space officers.
But you're pretty much the only friendly ship, right? Everything else is hostile to you, or
no? Their other NPCs are friendly. You can fly up to them, and if you disarm your guns, they'll open up a communication, and you can talk to them, and they'll give you recipes, and they'll give you hints and tips on how to survive. And
Oh, cool. Are they out kind of doing their own thing? I haven't run into one yet. I'm only in the second system.
Yeah, you'll see them going from station to station and mining asteroids and
cool.
They do the same shit you do.
Oh, neat. So do the prices and stuff change in the station?
Yes.
Like if you're delivering goods, there's a little dynamic economy going on.
Yes. So the stations themselves have modifiers, and those are constantly changing. You can keep an eye out when good deals pop up by watching the news, and if you check the news link in the station, you can see what's been going on and what's happening, and you can say, oh, look at this. The prices took a dive here. You can zoom out to your galaxy view, take a look at those stations, view what products they have really cheap, and then try to plot yourself a route.
Really?
Make some money. Yeah.
Now, can you tell what the prices are in another station from any other station?
Oh my God, you can, dude. I can tell.
Zoom out.
You zoom out.
on the phone.
Yep, get Braben on the phone.
Oh my God, dude, I'm looking. Oh my God,
dude, if my ship and Elite would just remember the last fucking station I was at, I would be happy. It's like at least if I have been there, keep a record of it. But no, that's why I have a big legal pad next to my computer. Oh well.
I gotta say that is one thing I love about your game, because one thing that can drive me crazy about a game, or just about anything really, but games and websites especially, is usability. I am a nut for good usability.
Yeah,
and
me too.
if there's bad usability, it will drive me up a fucking wall.
Yeah, I mean, have the difficulty of the game be because the game is hard, not because the UI is an asshole.
Yeah, I don't want to have to I was playing a game today called Dark Light Conflict. It's a space sim from 1997.
I love that game.
No.
It's so weird.
No. It's so bad. But the UI and the controls, it also came out on the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
So the controls were very simplistic, to the point where there was no targeting controls. Like, the game told you what to shoot at next.
Are you talking about the first one or the second one? Because there is a sequel to it. The sequel was
There's no sequel to Dark Light Conflict, as far as I know.
Oh, no, not Dark Light Conflict. Oh, God, no. I'm talking about Tar Chronicles, and then there was...
Oh, there was Tar Chronicles, and then there's Dark Horizon, which are both kind of shit. But I'm talking Dark Light Conflict, that EA game, the one with the really fucked up graphics,
Yeah, because Dark Light Conflict is inedible, but Dark Horizon, if you sprinkle a little sugar on it, you can kind of chew that turd. But
maybe,
yeah,
maybe, if you're lucky. Oh God, that game. But yeah, no, it was driving me crazy because there's no targeting. So how do I know why the computer's telling me what to shoot at next? Why can't I choose the closest target? Something like that. Why can't I just do this game?
So would you say it's better or worse than Forever War?
Forever War?
Yeah, today was your day of pain. It was
it really was. Reckoning. Yeah, it was. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
It was like an all-day pain fest. It was like Brian found this Rubik's Cube and he was playing with it, and then chains popped out of the walls, and this guy with pins in his head came out and said, "You have to play these games."
But I chose to do it. I chose to do it because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed entertaining people. But yeah, it's
no pain, no gain.
Right, but I played a bunch of awful games today, and it was fun because it was fun entertaining people. But some of those games though, I will fucking.
You think maybe you played so many bad games that you're overrating this one?
No,
because it's okay.
No.
Just make sure.
I played this before. I played the browser version a while back, and I enjoyed it then. I enjoyed the browser version quite a bit. So, no,
Me too. More than I should have.
Oh no, I ran out that one. Okay, yeah, I love how asteroids can run out. Will they pop back in? I haven't noticed. Will they pop back in eventually?
Back.
Oh, okay.
They'll come back.
So you could totally farm this system if you wanted to for a while.
Yeah, and I want to make some options where you can set it to where, once it's gone forever. So that way it really limits, your resources and how much stuff you have. And
Oh, so the asteroids will respawn given time.
Yeah.
And stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought the asteroids just being gone was the way to push the player into the next system. It's like, well, you're done here.
Well, it is. It is.
Yeah. Unless they're patient, right? How long does it take for them to respawn? Is it like
they just have to warp in and out. They come back.
Okay. So you reset the system whenever. Okay. Yeah, because I was kind of shocked. Like the first system, it's like there's 3 asteroids, and it's like, wow, you build a starbase here for that. So. But the other thing too, as a mechanic, like if you're farming pirates, right? I wonder if like you keep spawning more and more pirates in, if they get tougher or not. Something that says, whoa, hey, stop,
No,
let the pirates cool down.
No, not in that sector. I mean, it'll take a while for them to respawn, so you'll sit there and wait for them. But no, they don't get harder in that particular level. So what it ends up feeling like is you can grind those pirates until they get so easy, and you're like, I'm really not getting a lot of experience for these. I'm not getting a lot of bounty for them. I could easily kill the next level guys pretty much just as fast. So let me go ahead to the next sector, and then they're significantly more difficult. And so it gives you that good kind of feel where how long do you stay grinding the easy stuff before making the leap? Because you could spend a couple hours grinding the level 1 guys, but you'll progress a lot faster if you start grinding level 2 after 15 minutes and then level 3 after 45 minutes.
So as a designer, did you do that on a linear scale, like each system is +1 harder, or did you just play test through and decide like, okay, this is the curve? Or
I had to find the sweet spot. It's not exactly, it's not a whole number, that's for sure.
Because you expect like the player needs to be in this ship by this point, so the pirates are going to be like this, and if you haven't upgraded your ship, then you're toast, right? Or you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah. So. You'll start to run into deficiencies where you're like, man, I'm getting my ass kicked too much. I'm spending too much money on repairs. What am I not doing right? And you're like, what? Maybe I just need to, put some money into a better targeting system and go full lasers. And you can tweak around the modules a little bit and find a sweet spot for the difficulty that you're having with a particular sector. Which also helps the progression. So there's kind of more than one way to tackle it. You could, stick with your original setup and your whatever you've got rigged onto your ship and back up a sector or 2 and grind some easier guys to get the money to buy the ship, or you can, tweak it out.
Oh, that's a difficulty thing that you could do. Is you have a slider for ship insurance, right? So it'll be like, if you die, do you lose the whole ship, or do we give you back like 50% of the price of the ship back to your money, or what? And that way, if you lose, it's like you're flying a pretty expensive ship, you get killed, well, you don't have enough money on you to rebuy that ship, so you got to rebuy what you can afford and then just build back up to it. So it might knock you back a couple sectors, because then you can't deal with what you're into, right? So it's a thing of like, if you spend every penny you got and you buy this blingin' ship and then you take it out and wreck it, well, you're back to that $1,000 starter ship because you got nothing, right? But if you put the slider up to like 60% refund on dead ships, then you would get 60% of the price of that ship back. So at least you're not completely screwed.
Yeah, I like that. So maybe how it would work is, you've got this slider that says, on the far one end of the scale, it says you die, you lose nothing, you get the same ship back that you had before.
Yeah, you just respawn back.
Yeah, you just respawn your last save point. And then you move the slider 1 notch over, and then now if you die, you lose just the modules on your ship. And then you move the notch over again. It's like, now if you die, you lose your ship, and you get set back. You only get back, half the money. And then then you move the slider again. Now you only get back 10% of the money. You lose all the modules, and at the very end is permadeath, meaning you die. That's it. You've lost that entire system. If you try to load the game, it just gives you this little, funeral scene or something.
Yeah, and that'll make
gives you the stats.
Yeah, exactly, and do it like a roguelike, like have a cemetery.
Yeah, yeah.
This pilot got killed by this. Yeah, and
yeah.
You track stats too, right? Like how many things you
I
killed,
do.
how many things you
Yeah,
mined.
I do.
Oh yeah, dude, that's the deal. That's your scoreboard right there. And you know, if you tweak the score based on difficulty sliders, which that would be a hell of a calculation to figure out. But
I do.
But it's like have an online leaderboard, like, you know, this guy got to this level and he got the score that he got because he turned everything up to like insano difficulty and still got halfway through the game.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I'm going to do that it's a feature that's only available when you're playing in permadeath mode. So, you know, the only way you're going to get a score posted is to die in permadeath. So you're going to try to ride it out as long as you can, push it as far as, and then, you know, when you die eventually.
Oh.
Yeah, because, dude, that drives people. You know, it's like, oh, I got to get up on the leaderboard, right? So, yeah.
Shit. Sorry.
Are you having a fire?
Yes. Yes, the girlfriend is cooking.
Oh, there you go. Well, at least it's not like your CPU cooking. It's like, wow, the game's pretty tough on the old processor there. Set the smoke alarm off. But
thank God. No, this game is pretty easy.
Yes, speaking of, so you said in the game description, it's like this game's guaranteed to run on any potato that you have.
Pretty much, yeah. It runs on crap. I'm actually on the laptop that's in that Steam Greenlight video.
Mm-hmm. So I do kind of wish like the textures and stuff. Like I'm docked up right now, and it's like I wish that I could actually kind of crank the textures up some. I don't know if I'm missing a setting or that's just where they're at right now or what. But
are you talking about more on the ship?
Well, the ship and the environment. Now I realize you're doing in the environment you're doing a I forget what that's called, but basically like things in the distance get more blurry.
Yeah. Field of view.
What the heck is that called? Depth of field.
It's like the focus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the depth of field thing. Can I adjust that? Because it's like off in the distance, the stations are kind of like a blob.
Yeah, you can turn it off. It's under graphics options.
Turn what off?
Is it a slider?
The focus. It's not a slider.
Oh,
it's not
great
a slider.
disappointment.
What, the blue?
I haven't figured out how to do the slider on that one yet. I'll get there.
Is that the bloom effect you're talking about?
The bloom is like this glowy effect. That does have a slider.
What was the thing you were just talking about that doesn't have a slider?
The camera focus.
Oh,
yeah, the camera focus.
Okay.
Yeah, where do I get to the options from?
Just to escape, I think.
No, no, escape does nothing. There is no escape.
You're
I think
in
I'm docked.
station. Yeah, you have to undock.
Oh, yeah, you can't do it from a station. I don't think.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it from a station.
I can crank that skybox up. Ooh, that's pretty.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Shit, I'll have to try
Skybox
that.
slider, man. It suddenly turns into Homeworld.
Oh. Oh yeah, this game is.
Yeah, you
so
gotta wait
great.
about a year and then come out with the HD 4K remastered version. And
Oh my God! Don't get me started about Gearbox.
I really do like the reboot of Homeworld. Although I'm shocked that the Sands of Hagara is finally actually coming out after being in dev limbo for
ever.
Oh, it's been a long time, 15 years. So yeah. We need to have Martin back on here to talk about that one. He worked with those guys for a while.
Yeah, he that was one of my favorite podcasts that you guys did was the Cataclysm.
Oh yeah, and the whole the Disney rant was excellent. I don't know,
yeah,
was that even on the air?
Treasure Planet.
Yeah, no, we talked about Treasure Planet. Absolutely.
I bought that game. I own Treasure Planet.
I double dipped
half the show because when we turned the mics off, there was another hour and a half of like it was like, all right, mics are off, all right, real talk. And,
yeah, I double dipped. I double dipped on Treasure Planet as soon as it came on Steam. I was like, ah!
Is Treasure Planet multiplayer?
I think so.
Oh, I wonder if we can do that on Evolve.
I don't know. I never played it multiplayer.
I think it might have multiplayer.
Yeah, that'd be an Evolve candidate because I bet it does LAN because whatever other service.
And then we can get. And then we can get them to.
Oh, we get Martin back for that one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah man, bring it on.
Let me get in on that. I want to play some Treasure Planet.
I think it might have. I think it might. Let me look it up.
Yeah,
but so is there any okay? So this is basically people are calling this Eve Offline.
Yeah, basically.
That's the best advertising you can get right there.
I agree.
It's just a
this
simple.
Is for disgruntled Eve players.
Yeah.
I agree,
No
but I like that.
Swarm. You know, you could actually put NPCs in or a pirate faction that's the frickin' goon swarm. And
that would be funny.
That'd be damn funny. But my question is, is there a possibility to add multiplayer at any point?
It is something that I've considered. Initially, when I was developing it, I wasn't even thinking of it ever being released. I was just kind of building something that I would want to play because I was looking for a game like that and I couldn't find it. And, it kind of grew into what it is. But as far as multiplayer, I would have to have, a server set up and all of the code necessary to manage players and things of that nature. So I think initially I would go with more of just like the ability to team up with friends and play in like a co-op kind of universe where you're in the same prison with your buddy.
That's really all I want.
That's really all I want. Yeah, that's really.
You should call it Bro Op.
Bro Op.
Just bring your bros.
Isn't that what they call it on for Broforce?
That's awesome.
They might call it Bro Op.
I don't know. Speaking of Broforce, right? So there's this game that's on sale right now. It's like $2. It's called Kick-Ass Commandos. It's like the Akari Warriors version of Broforce.
What?
It's like top-down shooter thing.
Really?
And as you rescue other bros, they like stick to you. So then you have what was that game? Where you'd fly the ship and then you had like a formation of other ships around you. We had the guy on. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Close Order.
Yeah, Close Order. It's like Close Order with the bros, right? Because as you pick up bros, they stick to you.
What's it called?
And then, it's called Kick-Ass Commandos.
Oh, by the way, Treasure Planet apparently does support multiplayer, so we need we need to figure. We need
it's
to figure
on like Donkey Kong.
We need to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm all over that.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, there it is. Kick-Ass Commandos Early Access.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm not saying it's the best game ever.
$2.93. It's $2.93 currently. Full controller support. Apparently, it has kick-ass actions.
Also, Skydrift, if you don't have it, is $2.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that. Is it worth getting?
Oh yeah, it's Mario Kart in airplanes. I mean, like, what's wrong with that? Or Wipeout if you're a PlayStation guy. In airplanes. So, and I picked up. It's not on like super sale, but it's really good. Is that Our Nation's Miner? I cannot believe the production values that went into what's essentially an Asteroids clone. It's like I was maybe it opens up a little more, but it was kind of like all this open world looking stuff. Like, oh, I'm flying around in the city and I can dock at the store. You actually get out of the ship and then it becomes like a 3D environment, third person, and you're your guy in the spacesuit walking around, and you actually walk up to the terminal and interact with it. And I was just like, this is just mind-blowing, like how much production value they put into this. And the whole game looks like a neon sign. It's gorgeous. And then I got to the first mining thing, and then it's Asteroids. And I was like, what? and it was like, crazy. I was expecting the arena to be huge, right? And it was kind of small. But the Asteroids like wrap around, on the sides of the screen and stuff. It's straight up, it's Asteroids. I was just like, damn, this is the most blingin' Asteroids I've ever played.
So speaking of sales, this is your first Steam sale, really?
It is.
And how is it going for you?
It's going pretty good. It's been kind of crazy,
So what are you on sale for, and what is the normal price of the game?
I was selling the game for $10, and right now it's 25% off, so it's on sale for $7.50.
Oh, okay. But $10 is a good impulse sweet spot.
Oh yeah, for this. 10
Yeah, I
bucks.
figured it was.
Yeah. Oh no, that's an excellent price. Yeah.
The way that I look at it is like people on Steam sales, like eventually, after a year or whatever, then your sales reach the point where the only way that you can tickle sales again is 50% off. So initially, you have to price your game thinking like next year I'm going to be selling it at 50%.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost like, do I want to price the game at 20 because I want to sell it for 10? Or not, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a weird market deception.
It is strange.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a lot of information about that. Just searching on the internet, trying to find, what kind of numbers other indie game developers have extrapolated.
You're not allowed to disclose your actual numbers, but you can show the graph. Just don't show the numbers on the graph, right?
Huh.
So Steam doesn't get weird about that. So the guy that made Dungeon Defenders, and now Dungeon
I read
Defenders
that. I read that article.
Yeah, the long spiky tail and all that.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. I love how candid that guy is. And that helped me out a ton because I was just like, I know what's going on. So.
Yeah, it's interesting for your first time, like learning that whole back end process, so everything behind the curtain. It's, one administration menu nested inside of another and nested inside of another, and you're just like, oh, it's overwhelming at first, but it's worth it in the long run.
It sounds it. I mean, it sounds like you're having a great time with this.
I am, man. I'm having a blast.
Well, I gotta say, what it sounds like is this is not your primary income, which is why you're not like stressing it. I'm guessing it's not your. Yeah, see that's nice because we do talk to developers where like they put all their eggs in this basket, and I mean that's what they do. I'm not judging that, but at the same time, it causes a level of stress for them that I wish they didn't have. I hate seeing these folks so stressed out about their games.
It's crazy, and even being in a position where this is something extra that I still lost sleep over it. When you're creating something and you're putting something out there for the world to take a bite out of, and it's definitely a scary kind of feeling to not know, is it going to be successful? Is it going to completely flop? Are people going to be receptive and enjoy it and see the same thing that I saw in it? Or are they going to be completely the opposite and be like, what the fuck is this bullshit? And, like totally hate on it. And you never really know. And it's taking a chance. And it's definitely stressful, even if there's nothing monetary involved at all.
If there's one thing we've learned from the internet, it's that people will hate on some shit.
Oh, yeah.
So... It's like even the best thing is going to find like the I would say like 90% of the conversation about the best thing is hate. Yeah. For some reason, like that kind of it's become a business model, especially like on YouTube, right? And it's finally starting to fade out, but it's like angry gamer, snarky gamer, cynical gamer,
Oh, jeez.
Douchebag gamer, whoever those guys are. I won't name names, Biscuit, but what's his name? Yahtzee, right? Like Yahtzee was. I don't have a problem with him because he was the initiator, I think, of that. And if not the guy that started it, he's the guy that actually like made it work, right? Like he drew the huge audience. But he's actually got something to say, right? Yeah. And it's like a lot of the other guys are just like rant artists. But it's weird. Like the tone of the internet is kind of like that. It's like nothing can be good enough.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like as a game developer, it's like, man, I'm making the game for who? And
Yeah.
So it's kind of like unfortunately the people that seem to like the product are the silent majority, and you only hear from the douchebags.
That's not just typical of gaming.
Well, that's
it's typical of everything. Like I work in a very client-facing industry, and like you never hear from clients when they're happy ever.
No, they don't call. Yeah. They don't call support to say their computer's working fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, but when when shit hits the fan. So how have you found fan response to this game? It seems to be fairly positive from what I've seen on the forums and whatnot.
It has been. It's been very positive. I've been really shocked. Everybody seems to be into it and they're enjoying it. And anybody that has a gripe or a concern is usually one I have myself. So we kind of agree. And I don't know. It seems pretty good.
Well, that's a great attitude. But one thing I think that keeps people positive about this game is it doesn't ask too much of the player. Like, it's not overtly complicated like we were talking about before, but it gives more than it asks for, I think.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And even on the page itself, I kind of wanted to be just really upfront and explain exactly what it is. And, I didn't want anybody to buy the game and think that it was going to be something that it wasn't. And feel like they got ripped off or, cheated somehow. I'm not into that.
And the controls, maybe because I've played Eve before, right? So the controls, it was just no-brainer. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I can slide that, and that's the engine speed, and there's my cargo, and here's my things. And thank God you have tooltips on everything. Yeah, thank you. Because games that have like this Byzantine freaky interface, and then they don't put tooltips on anything, and it's like, oh my God, really? Yeah. So it's like, well, look on our wiki. No.
Yeah. So, tooltips are a big thing for me, and it's nice to see a game with just an overabundance of tooltips. It's just so great.
And they're not obnoxious tooltips that take up half the screen either. They're just enough. And
just enough to tell you what it is.
Yep.
Exactly.
And it's like, this is probably not your first video game. So, that always amazed me too. Like, every time you would buy, like back in the day, right, you get a console game, the first page is like the epilepsy warning, and the second page is how to stick a disc in your system. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I think it's only gotten worse. When I grew up playing video games, you were lucky to get like a 3-page booklet that had some really basic information on it, and half the fun of the game was just learning how to play it, just figuring out what the hell was what. You're like, I moved the stick and this dot moved.
No, that's why you got to buy the strategy guide. That's a business model.
Oh, there wasn't even strategy guys. I'm talking like mid 80s. I was on a Commodore 64 and
those that stuff. So at the height of PC gaming, the golden silver age, right, we'll say, was whenever you could get games from Simtex like Master of Magic, and then you could get a hint guide that was like a freaking telephone book, and they would just be like, here's every number in the game, like we hide nothing, it's all here, and it's just like, damn. So if you wanted to be like a scholar of Master of Magic, you're one book away. And then the TIE Fighter hint guide, I think that's Brian and I's favorite book.
Man. So great. Yeah,
I have very fond memories of TIE Fighter.
Oh, anyone who has ever played it should.
What's TIE Fighter?
Shut up, Hunter.
Well, you can tie it in a bow. You can.
Great news, Ace.
What? So,
yes.
Did you have you seen? Speaking of TIE Fighter, so they ported over all the missions from the original TIE Fighter into X-Wing X-Wing Alliance rather.
So that works now?
Entire, theoretically, I haven't done it, but I was looking at the website, and there's YouTube videos of the guy. He's playing the inspect the transports. That first TIE Fighter mission. He's totally playing it. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's legit.
Wow.
So I did a video that it's up on my channel, and I'll have to write something because I wrote a thing for Tech Raptor about how to do it. But it's how to mod up X-Wing versus TIE Fighter to get, or not versus TIE Fighter, X-Wing Alliance rather. I wish you could do this to X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. It would be beautiful. But X-Wing Alliance, where I have X-Wing Alliance running in 3440 by 1400, and it's like, super crisp, all brand new graphics, and it looks like a 2015 game. It's crazy.
Wow.
and it's just like, you get the game like $5 on GOG. Is how much are they selling it for this week?
$6. The cheapest you've been ever able to get it is like $6, I think.
Okay, but so worth it because
oh yeah,
$6 and you smack 2 mods on it. You get the widescreen mod and you get the Darksaber craft pack, and it reskins every stinking texture in the game, and
adds skyboxes and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah, oh, wow. It's like if there's any pixel on the screen, it has not been untouched. And
I'm gonna have to get that.
Hey guys, guess which game Evolve supports?
Yay! Which one?
Treasure Planet.
Yay!
I'm adding that to the list. I'm adding that right now, actually, because that sounds like it would be amazing.
You should have been great news, Ace.
Great news
supports Treasure Planet.
Is that going to be a thing from now on? We're just going to be like, great news, Ace.
It should be. Jace is on the show.
That's stupid.
It should be a thing.
Stupid fucking robot.
Oh man, we should start the show. We'll get rid of the TIE Fighter intro, and we'll just have that Asmine bass music.
Can we get just that? Can we get just that music?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That might make people run away in terror.
Great news, Brian.
No. Son of
we
a
can
bitch.
Probably find the voice actor that did the robot. Oh yes, that's good.
Oh no, we should find him and go, great news, Ace. It's the Space Game Junkie Podcast.
This is our first post Star Wars show.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Jace, have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh, spoilers.
Well, let me tell you all about it. So, in the first act...
yeah, so the movie ends with Chewbacca screaming Khan, and it was painful.
Yeah, and the Doctor shows up with an army of Cylons. It's pretty great.
It was a fusion kind of thing.
So how many ships are in this game that you can fly?
33, I think.
Holy wow! I'm only on like the 4th.
It gets deep.
I just got a frigate, which I'm really
deep.
I'm really
so tight.
I just
fuck yeah.
oh Jesus.
What is going on?
Did you see the TV spot?
This is no longer a PG-13 show.
Yeah.
What?
Oh god, the space bar. I didn't know about that. Okay.
So, whoa! I didn't either. Holy shit! What does that do? Oh my god! Whoa! That is an in-system map.
Holy shit! If homework was only that good.
It shows you where everything is. Oh my god!
And I can see my house from
I can see the pirates, and I can see the few asteroids that are left, and the gates, and
yeah. So it's basically like Turbo Mouse Wheel. So what's awesome about that? Like roll the mouse wheel all the way out, and you go clear out to the star map.
Oh my god! That is amazing. And then you can zoom right back in, and then you can zoom right back. Oh my shit!
Yeah.
Oh my shit! And this game can have what, up to 90 systems?
100.
100. What do you do with 100? Like, what? Does it just get more and more difficult?
Yep.
That's crazy.
So the more systems, the harder the game will get at the end because it's on that curve.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god.
Okay, because I was wondering if like the last system is always the maximum difficulty. So if you have like 10 systems, you're going to ramp from 0 to like hardest in 10, or if you have more, or does it actually get harder? If like 11 will be harder than 10, but if I only put 10, then it never gets harder than that.
It kind of scales out. Like I think once you get over about 25 systems, it starts to get progressively worse. But I think before 25, it's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
I think the difference between 10 and 25, like if you're only playing 10 systems versus if you're playing 25, the difficulty's not too
So
crazy.
it's like 10 systems. I'm not going to need to get to that Super Titan battleship thing.
No.
Right.
No.
Okay.
But once you complete it, once you get through, then it gives you the option to say, okay, you ready to play again? You get to keep everything you got, but now you get to adjust all the settings and play a completely new map.
Oh,
So
really? So it's like New Game Plus.
You just keep going.
Oh.
So you can be like, this time I want to be quick. I only want to mine 100 rocks, but I want it to be hard as fuck. I want there to be I'm really there to farm pirates, so I want it to be difficult. But as soon as I'm ready to be done with it, I can farm 100 rocks and I'll be finished. And then I want to create a nether system after that and then make it like huge. So yeah, you can adjust it. You keep, you keep
That's
everything.
amazing. That is amazing. Now, I gotta ask, how do jobs work exactly? They're just jobs, and you just fulfill them.
Think of it like a post-it board. Somebody's just posting up, I need this. If you show up with that, there's a button that says complete. You click it. There's your money.
Yeah, think of it like Steam achievements. Like it's there whether you know about it or not, and you just might do it.
Because, see, I'm used to games where, like, you accept a mission and then you do it, but I was like, there's no, like, accept button. Oh, you just do it.
There's just more unnecessary interface involved in that, all of that.
Yeah, we were talking, because I brought that up earlier, and he said, he had considered doing a traditional accept the mission, do the mission kind of quest system.
Right.
But then just decided, like, nah, that's bullshit. We'll just,
I'm sorry, folks. I've been distracted actually playing the game, and it's just a fun way to spend your time.
On that board, though, do those things stay up there? Like, if you see something like, oh, I know where I can go get that, does it stay there, or do they just rotate through?
Jace?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Do the jobs cycle in and out, or are they static?
Yes, they do. They slowly cycle through, so eventually they will disappear.
Oh.
Okay.
So you got to really get on that shit.
So, well, if it's gone, it's gone, or if it has been completed, it goes away and doesn't come back, or...
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes to all of those things.
Pretty much.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
But if I don't complete it and it just expires and goes away on its own, can it recycle back through?
Yeah, well, a similar job, but they're all created randomly and dynamically, so there's technically never going to be two exact ones. One will say, bring me this much, and another say, well, bring me that much plus one. So it'll always be a little bit different.
Right. So yeah, this sounds like a great game where it sounds like the opposite of EVE Online in the fact that with EVE Online, okay, I've got 3 hours to do a bunch of shit. Okay, I'll just do 3 hours to do that. But with this, like, I got 5 minutes. I'm going to mine a rock and upgrade my gun, and I feel like I accomplished something.
Yeah. It's much more instant gratification.
Which is really, really nice.
Yeah, by the way, that depth of field thing, because I turned it off, and the game looks like 10 times better to me with that off. I would say default that to off. Yeah. Because you couldn't see the stars in the background, and now the stars pop out because of that blur. It just they faded in to the background, but now it's actually like a skybox. So
really, I'll have to try that.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. I'm definitely gonna put a slider in there too.
Yeah, because it just needs to be like less because it's
when in doubt, add a slider.
Well,
yes.
Yeah. It's to the point where it like smears out the stars, so I don't even know that they're there. I just thought it was like a black, whatever. And then I turned it off, and it was like bang. It was like George Bush.
What did you
light.
Jim? What did you turn off?
Camera focus under options, graphic options.
Oh, I definitely turned that off. Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, because if you turn it on and look at the stars in the background, they're gone. So.
Right. I gotta say, I love the zoom out thing. That's my favorite new thing. Every game should allow this much level of zoom out and zoom in. Oh my god.
You know what the best part is? The best part is that I'm not going to the map and then trying to plot coordinates in 3 dimensions with a 2-dimensional map. Homeworld. Yes.
I do.
Because it's just like you pick the thing
and you just go to the thing. You go to the fucking thing, which is nice. I mean, it's 3D, which is great, and things are above and below. But yeah, you do the fucking, you click the thing.
The thing that's really weird about Homeworld though is like you plot the course and then you have to like right click and drag it up and down and
yeah, it's gnarly.
Really obnoxious.
So speaking of right click though, I have a thought, because when you left click on an asteroid or a ship or whatever, it selects it, and if you right click, it also selects it. I'm thinking if you right click on it on the list, it focuses the camera on it, so it would just spin the camera to face that way, and that way I can just be like, where is this thing, and right click, because I might want to manually fly, but it's just like I can't guess in relation to me without targeting it where it's actually at, and then if I have autopilot on, I'm going, right? So because that kind of freaked me out the first time. I was like, oh, there's pirates. Let me click on one and see. And it was like, oh god, I'm going there. So, but by the way, is there a hotkey for target closest enemy?
No, there is not.
Okay, so I've got auto target on, so it takes care of itself. But I was kind of looking for, like, okay, I'm in a fight, and how do I target the next guy without turning on auto target? And it was, I was having Eve syndrome, because you have to go over. It's like, oh god, I'm dying, and I have to click on this stuff on a list. At least you don't have like a 8-point font that I'm trying to read crap. They finally did fix that in Eve. I don't know how recently have you played it? Because Hunter and I played it.
Oh, it's been a couple years. It's been at least 2 years.
They will give you like a 15-day free trial or something.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it's worth it. Like, go sign up for a new account and just play it for a day and see what they did to that game, because it's way different. No, I'm talking to Jace.
Oh, okay.
Because it is ridiculously better, although still not great. But yeah, it's like some of the irritations are there, but the UI is vastly improved.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, the UI used to be like the hardest part about that game.
Yeah, it was pretty thick.
Oh wow! I just like one-shotted a fucking pirate because I've got 5 medium lasers on this frigate.
Have you seen Eve Valkyrie? That demo video that they put out?
I want that game.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It looks pretty great.
It's their new flight sim, first-person shooter, cockpit simulator.
Apparently, it's going to ship for free with Oculus Rift. If you buy an Oculus, you're getting that.
Yeah,
so,
and it's not like a MMO like subscription thing. Like it's a standalone game.
But it's a Starfighter game. It's not an Eve game. So it's like X-Wing TIE Fighter style.
Set in the Eve universe, yeah.
Yeah. Which would be really interesting if you could actually interact with the other Eve players, but I don't think that they're going to allow that. It's going to be like a separate game, almost like that Dust thing was.
Huh. I like that. Oh wow! I found stuff. So I like that if you zoom out, like, oh, there's just random crates sitting around the system for some reason that you can loot. I would never have seen them if I had not looked for them.
Yeah, just I think alt-click on any crate, either on the map or in the list, and it'll pull up all the crates on the map.
How do you see crates on the targeting thing? I didn't even know how to do that.
You can draw a big bandbox and see what's out there.
Oh man, I really dig this. I just gotta keep playing this.
Yeah, I think you need one more button that's like other, right? So it'd be like, if it's none of these things, give me a list.
That would be a bad idea.
Unless you just want crates to be a mystery like that people have to remember to hunt for. But
So now that I know this is a full title, I'm definitely going to be doing a Let's Play series. I can't wait, because we've been playing for like an hour now, and I feel I have a frigate and I've got guns on it. I just killed a bunch of pirates, and it felt satisfying. Even mining rocks.
Nice.
I gotta say, I love mining in games, especially games like Jumpgate and whatnot. I did enjoy mining in Eve when someone wasn't fucking shooting at you.
There's only one thing better than mining, and that's trucking. So, and this was originally called like Space Trucker or something.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Its prototype was Space Trucker. It was. I was making a Flash game, and I was finally like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm finally moving to Unity, and I abandoned the whole Flash thing, and actually went back to it for a second, and then threw it away again. And
what would be hilarious is if you had a ship piece that was actually like a Kenworth cab, and that was the nose of your ship. Like no matter what the rest of the ship is, it's got a Kenworth for a cockpit, and
I was thinking
you can haul some square pigs up in that shit. And
yeah,
did you see that movie?
Being a big fan of the RVs, I was thinking of the old Lone Star RV flying in space.
Oh yeah,
Winnebago.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So there was a movie. It's got Dennis Hopper in it. It's called Space Trucker.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, with the square pigs and the.
Yeah. You remember Space Pirates?
Yes, Ice Pirates.
No, Space Pirates.
It was Ice Pirates.
You know, that was a movie that was so better when I was a kid, and then I watched it again as an adult, and it just didn't have the same power. I mean, the Space Harpy is the Space Harpy. It's gonna always be great, but.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
So new Spaceballs. Mel Brooks is.
Why can't he just make Jews in space?
I know, right? Like
that's what fucking needs to happen. We've been waiting for this since 1983. Since 1983, we've been waiting for fucking Jews in space.
Maybe the Star of David destroyer can be in there somehow, right? Like just a cameo in the new Spaceballs. Just
he
have
might
it
bring
in the
it
background.
back. He's crazy like that.
He is. I'm surprised to find out he's actually still alive, because isn't he like 500 years old or something?
He's pretty up there.
Up there.
He's pretty up there. Now I just leveled up. My player just leveled up. So what exactly does that mean? Because I noticed there's a university. I kept forgetting to ask about that. So I leveled up, and apparently I have skill points.
Yes.
What do you do with that?
You can go to the university and spend them to train up on skills.
Oh, and that makes your engine more fuel efficient, it looked like, or
whatever skills you decide to train. Now, there are more skills available in higher level systems, but again, do you try to save your money up and sneak through the gate to get to a different station a couple levels up, so you can buy something good and then run back to where you were and try to beat everything and build up again, and so you can kind of make like little like ninja runs. You know, two or three systems ahead to try to get a better laser or better something for your ship, you know, so you can spend your money wisely.
That's great. Yeah, because it sounds like there's just a lot to do. I mean, you're thinking all I do is mine and shoot pirates? Oh, no. There's a little more than that.
I thought it was pretty wild, though, like my little ship, and I had enough money, you know, because you start out, you got like 10 cargo, and then I bought this cargo expander, and then it's like, you've got like 500 cargo, and it's like, in this? It's like, I have a little Honda Civic here, right? So, I don't know if you bolt a cargo pod onto the outside or something, because that's one thing, is like, you don't really have any visible difference to the ship as you upgrade things, right?
That's right.
So,
and that was also kind of a byproduct from the congregate version that I'm no longer limited on. You know, I was working on a newer project called Starship Commander 2, which is a sequel to an older game I made. And I was fooling around with homeworld style controls and, you know, 3D space movement and, you know, controlling larger fleets. And I had it set up to where individual modules, so that turrets were actually on the ships, to where they turn and they all had their individual, you know, attributes that would affect how they fired, and, you know,
cool.
But yeah, but they had a visual element to it, and, you know, I was considering, hey, that's something I can now kind of translate back into Astrox, you know, get in there and actually put the modules on the ships and give them the attributes that would allow.
So here's a thought that I had, and I think with your idea of like ship designing and stuff, this would work perfectly and simplify your life. So if you had like, choose a cockpit module, right? Whatever you want your cockpit to look like, and please put the Kenworth in there. But that's just bling, right? But then out the back of that, if you just had like the Discovery in 2001, it had the ball on the front, right? And there's a long stem that comes off, and then there's an engine at the back. So your different modules could be like donuts, and you put them on the stem, right, in the order that you buy them or whatever. So it's like, oh, I have a cargo pod, so the cargo pod will be there, and then in the next slot I have a weapon. So then there would actually be like the weapon module behind the cargo module, And like the more modules I stack, the longer my ship gets.
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting.
Because that way it's like Lego blocks, and you're just snapping modules on.
Yeah, that would definitely be tricky. Completely possible, of course.
I was thinking it would actually be simpler because you just model each component as one thing, and then you stack them. Because it would just be a linear stack of, or would that be like a physics problem? Because then you have to bind a bunch of separate components and drag around together.
Actually, what I would do is I'd probably create hard points in the individual ship information, so that regardless of what module you had, it would know where to place these modules. So that as you would rearrange them in the garage, it would move them around on where they're placed on your ship.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Or it would just be, well, yeah, I guess, because it would be dependent on what module, right? So, yeah, okay.
Right.
Because I was just thinking, like, well, if each module, like each box in the, the paper doll for the ship would just be a piece of that stem of whatever. And if you only had, like, let's say you have 5 slots for active modules, but you only have 1 fitted, then you would have a ship that looks like a pencil with like 1 module on it. But you would see, like, oh yeah, there's like 4 open slots, and I can plainly see it. Like I could stack 4 more things.
Yeah, so it would have some kind of shape to it that you'd recognize as an empty slot. Same with the static slots and the modulator slots. You know, maybe the modulators always show up underneath, like little, like the old tubes used to plug into the radios, like these funny little things sticking out the bottom.
Yep. Well, because I was thinking like the cargo boxes, because I was talking with James that's making Shallow Space today, and he was looking for ideas for his cargo ships, right? And he's also good friends with the guys that made Nexus: The Jupiter Incident, and it's actually their forum that I was talking to him in.
I've heard good things about that game. I've never played it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, it's really good.
Really, really good.
I've always heard good things about that.
My struggle all day today has been to get the multiplayer to work, though, because we want to play it, and it just crashes every time I start the
even with Evolve.
No, it's not about that. It's like if I go in and I say start the server, bang, crash to desktop. Oh. So it has nothing to do with the network stuff. It never gets that far. And there's reasons, right? There's like some conflicts in the files, the way that it got distributed, and you have to like unpack a big tar ball of files and then put them in the right place. And it's a little involved. When I get it to work, I'm gonna zip it up and I'm gonna like put it up on my website and just be like, here it is. And that way you don't have to futz around with it anymore, because it's just like, holy crap, it's difficult. But there are people that have it working. So maybe it's just Windows 10 in combo with that, or I don't even know. But anyway, the cargo ships in that, whenever I love the design of the ship, because it's kind of like that, right? It's like a long, thin ship. But the cargo ships, they have the engines at the back, and then some stem that's got some fuel tanks and stuff, and some solar panels, and then there's like the cockpit module, which is more like the bridge of a ship, right? And then it kind of like on a Star Destroyer, right? It's got like that raised bridge thing. There's that, and then in front of that, it's like on a container ship, how they have those multicolored rectangular cargo containers. There's just like a stack of like 100 of those. That's the nose of the ship. So it's basically just it's just got like a Lego assortment of cargo pods that are together, and it's just like got a big engine bolted on the ass of it, and it's pushing that through space.
And that's pretty much how it would really be,
Oh, absolutely.
They're not gonna waste money and shit on a whole bunch of fancy curves. Like,
yeah, exactly.
No.
It's like, it ain't that Imperial Courier and Elite, that's all like Corvette. No. It's just like, this is a frickin' box with an engine on the back.
And you know how else they do it?
Don't matter.
Like a train, they'd pull big ass long strands of clumps of shit.
Heavy Metal Queen, baby. Because that's Hunter knows what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah, man.
Brian? The Cowboy Bebop episode, Heavy Metal Queen.
No, I've not seen that.
It's a great one.
Episode. They totally do, man. It's a giant cargo ship. The opening of the show is like this thing coming into dock, and it's almost like one of the heavy metal movies where they're blasting like metal music. What is that, like Iron Maiden or something that they're jamming? And
I'm not entirely sure. It's just an awesome scene.
Yeah, it is great. It's like probably the best 2 minutes of cartoon on YouTube, and good time. But yeah, that's totally the deal. So I was just thinking, like, well, if you bolt cargo stuff on, then you could make it look like a bunch of like cargo boxes or something. That would be like that section, or But that kind of expanded into we could just stack everything like rings on a pole.
You know what? I gotta say one last thing, and then we gotta wrap it up. It's a little thing, but I love how when you have unused modules and you go from one station to another, you still have fucking the same unused modules.
But do they take up cargo space?
No.
No.
They're just with you. They're just fucking with you.
How does that work? You should be dragging them on a rope or something.
Quiet.
No, I figure they're small enough. They're not actual cargo.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's nice because right now I got my laser guns on them, and then I could switch back to my mining guns and do some mining, blah blah blah. So, yeah.
And if you choose to leave your stuff behind, you can lease some cargo space at the station, and then you can drop stuff off and unload it at the station, and it'll be there when you come back.
Can you do that with commodities as well?
Yeah, everything.
Oh, so I can like buy up all the water in the system, and then when they get desperate, then I sell it back to them.
Yeah.
I can break your economy. Sweet. I'm gonna get to work on that right away. Well, I'm gonna be like Lex Luthor, right? I'm gonna just buy up all the water rights. Oh no, wait, that's Nestle. And yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I gotta wrap this up. I'm sorry. I'm expecting guests, but.
Oh, congratulations,
Jace! This has been a great show. You have a really great game, folks. You really need to check it out. I mean, for even at full price for $10, this game is worth it because it's fun. It just boils, like we said, the essentials, the fun. It boils out all the crap, and what you're left is the chewy nougat center of an amazing.
Cut off all the crusts, and you have a great sandwich.
Of the best grilled cheese sandwich you had in your life, the crusts have been cut off.
You have to be priced about $10-15, right? In the current market, but if you bling these ships up, right? Like if these looked like the ships in Eve, this is a $20 game, $25 game, easy. Like it's just to get the consumer to look at it and say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy that."
I've improved the graphics.
Oh yeah, they already look better than the browser version I played like a year ago.
Yeah, I'm just saying perception of the customer on Steam when they look at the screenshot, then they're going to look at like the ship. And if the ship was like really the coolest looking thing in the game, because right now the ship is like the least cool looking thing and everything around it is
You're
good.
right.
So if the ship was actually like, the coolest thing on the screen, then people are going to be like, fuck yeah, here's $30, pow, and
well, at the same time, that makes the game again run better on a better variety of hardware. Which I mean, this is the thing that's moving around the most. This is the thing that's your focus on is the most. So if you have a lower poly count here,
well, you could have a low poly count, but you can still have a bling ass skin on it, whatever. Right?
There's a middle ground there, and then you just give the people the ability to switch it on and off.
All I can say is I'm excited for the continual development of this game and what you got coming, dude. This is really good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Yeah, because honestly, if you said this is the game I'm done, I'd still pay $10 for it.
Oh yeah.
But if you're saying like, oh, more to come, then it's like sweet.
The fact that I could keep building my shit and get a really good ship and finish this universe and then take everything and move on to a new one, that right there is a reason to keep going.
Yeah, maybe it's like Diablo. Then like you finish it and then you turn it up to like hell difficulty.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
Exactly.
But I need more. I need that permadeath. I need that feeling of like, I can't make these crazy, mistakes and get myself caught somewhere.
Right. Well, folks, the game is Astrox. Oh, God. What's the subtitle? Jace, what's the subtitle?
Hostile Space Excavation.
Thank you. I can never remember that. All I remember is Astrox.
That's all you need to know.
That's all. It's right now during the Steam sale. It's going for $7.49, I believe, but the price is usually $9.99. And guys, I mean, 33 ships, up to 100 randomly generated systems, with combat and mining and trade, and dynamic missions that people just need shit, and you fulfill those needs. There's just a lot to do here, and if you like EVE Online but don't like other people, this is the game you really want to play. If you like, wow, the gameplay of EVE Online is great, it's just ruined by all these fuckwads, then this is the game.
And like hell is other people, right?
Exactly.
So.
Or like Roy said on IT Crowd, I don't like other people. People, what a bunch of bastards. It's so true. It's so true. So, folks, I want to thank you for watching tonight's show. Couple of show notes. Tomorrow, if you're watching this live, tomorrow is the last day of my staycation streaming, and it's a giveaway day. So I'm going to be giving away copies of Zigfrak, Defect, the Star Wolves series, and X Rebirth. So if you want to... Yeah, well, I have 3 copies. I got to do something with them. So...
Are you giving away all 3? Or...
Yeah, I'm giving away all 3. I'm giving away all 3. What do I need them for? So, folks, if you want to stop by and try and win one of these games, and Elliot, I'm talking to you, one game. This guy Elliot shows up for every stream. I love him to death, but he's like, I want to win everything. Nope. One game, dude.
You should make it like, oh God, what was that show that used to be on TV? It was like Monty Hall thing.
Let's make a deal.
Like 3 doors, right?
Yeah, let's make a deal. Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you won this game. Now you can trade that in for what
behind door number 1 or door number 3. You've won a cow.
Oh, you got X Rebirth. Wow.
You won some goats. And by that I mean I'm giving you my copy of Tomorrow War. Wah wah.
No. If you do this, I will buy a copy of Bad Rats. Give that away. Or oh God, what's that other game?
The Pony Princess game that everyone was giving away 2 years ago.
You know, a game that we need is Hello Kitty Space Adventure.
Alpha Xylon. That's the one. That's the one you want to give away. Alpha Xylon.
Alpha Xylon, the game that no one has survived. It's like many have played, none have returned. So,
Elliot, I can't help that I'm dating a woman with your first name as last with 2 T's. I can't help that, man. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you for watching. Jace, you've been a fantastic guest. I want to thank you for ending your 7-hour drive with us. That was
It's been great.
You could have said, "Fuck off, I need a shower," but no, you manned up and came onto the show like you said you would, and that was awesome.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So
let us know when you add wings to that Winnebago. We'll come check it out.
Oh yeah, man. You could probably get on my Instagram account, which is just my name, Jace Masula, and you'll see pictures of my Winnebago.
That is
pretty awesome.
that is
Nice.
that is JACE MASULA. Is that? I'm pretty sure. Okay, yes, thank you.
Yep.
So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Next week we're going to do a review of 2015, and we're going to look at see what's ahead in 2016. There's no multiplayer this week because of New Year's Eve, so we'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and the podcast will see you next year. Have a good night, guys. Bye bye.